Hey guys, what's happening? This is Beta Ready. In this video, I'm going to be taking an XT60 blank that I've previously made up. Files will be linked in. And I'm going to be using it to create a cap to actually fit on the end of the XT60s. This will be used to show me if I've used the batteries or not. I always try and start by laying out the file so that I've got the variables rendered in modules in separate sections so that they're nice and easy to find if I'm ever referring back to it in future. Obviously other people have done versions of these which you'll find easily on Thingiverse, but I actually wanted to do a version of my own as it gives me a chance to actually do a design today. I have pushed the speed up on the video, but obviously if you want to take a closer look or anything at it, just feel free to pause it. So I'm starting to build the surround of the cap using 2 cylinders initially. So I start by taking some variables that I think are going to be about right and start fitting the cylinder around the original XT60 blank that I've used before. I know the blank actually works well in terms of fitting. I used it on a ZMR top frame where I actually have the XT60 coming through so the battery can be plugged in from the top. Next, I use a difference function to see how the XT60 actually cuts away from the external blank that I've actually made. I'm checking here to see what sort of thickness I need and what sort of depth it's actually going to need to house an XT60 properly without sliding off. At this point, I decide that I don't actually like that second cylinder on the back end there because I want it to be a little bit flatter and just take up a little bit less space on the back end where that flat edge actually is. I don't tend to like the completely flat edge though, I want to have it slightly rounded. So what I'm going to do here is actually use 2 very small cylinders and push them out to either side so that it actually sits in line with the edges of that existing cylinder and gives me a rounded edge but a flat on the back end. At this stage I'm just trying to work the variables out so that it doesn't actually protrude beyond, and when it comes to it in future, if I do want to actually change it, I'm not going to have to worry about having any of the variables on the inside of the modules. At this stage I'm happy with the curve. I've got my 2 translates ready and I've just copied and pasted. I've left some variables in the wrong place there, so what I do is I get rid of them and then I actually have the complete back shape that I'm actually after now. From there it's just a case of some moving around and some resizing. I actually went down and remeasured the XT60 connector of a couple of the different batteries that I've got just to make sure that I had a good balance between them. Essentially what this one's going to do is actually fit over the top edge so it comes all the way up to really close to the wires. I want to have some text, F for full, E for empty, which is obvious. And what I want to do here is actually extrude up into the base of that little cap. And what I'm going to do there is I use a difference to cut away from that. At this point I'm just trying to figure out the sizing where it's going to fit well without actually compromising the walls of the cap. If I'd left the text the way that it had been, what would have happened there is that it obviously would have been upside down when you actually looked at it from underneath and it had been cut away. So I flipped it around so that it actually showed the right way up when you looked at it from there. Initially I was thinking of having it pushing all the way through, but I thought if I was ever transporting the batteries on the airlines, it might be more useful to actually have it so that they were completely covered at the top so that there was no perceived risk of anything getting in there and shorting the two terminals out. At this point I decided to externalize that module, take the variable out of it so that I could just pass in a letter and have it automatically actually be put onto the base of it. Just trying to simplify things, and that way if I ever want to go back and use it for anything else, it's going to be much easier to actually use. To finish off, I'm taking two of the modules and putting them side by side and just spacing them out so that they're ready to be printed. And what I'm going to do is save it, pass it over to Cura, and once I've done that, it's going to head downstairs and get chucked on the printer. So that's the file done and ready for printing. I have actually printed these now. The photo that you saw at the start was the finished product. It fit well first time. It was a nice friction fit. If you want to try print one out for yourself, there's a link in the description to Thingiverse where you can have a go yourself. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested in seeing any more builds like this or possibly anything to do with quadcopters, hit the like button or subscribe. And if you have any questions about this build, or if you have any ideas in terms of build that you want to see, or things that you'd like to try and do with OpenSCAD, you can always pass them over to me and I'll see what I can do. Thanks again.